Okay, since the last video, I've added a couple of things to the painting. So I've kind of put in some rocks on the left-hand side, mostly, a few scattered around as well. And that's just to improve the composition, balance things out. It just kind of lead the eye in towards the cresting wave there. I've also worked a little more on the rocks in the foreground. I'm trying to keep those with not too much detail so that it doesn't kind of create a barrier for the eye. So you do kind of leads you in, but you skip over them and on into the painting itself. So at the moment, I'm working on the right-hand side there, adding in some highlights, mostly a blue-grey highlight. So they're the kind of underneath highlights, if you like, the sub highlights. It's a mixture of mostly titanium white, ultramarine blue, and a little raw umber just to grey it out just slightly. So the idea with the foam is that it should kind of draw the eye around through the painting as much as possible. The direction of the water is going to flow back into the wave. That's not necessarily correct, but it's the way I want it for the composition to make it work better. As you can see from the photograph, my reference there on my iPad, I'm not following that exactly. Generally speaking, photos are just a kind of a start, jumping off point, so that I can kind of work on into things as I go. Okay, so adding more lights now. We've got the white foam. We're almost doing white here, and just getting some areas of interest up on the roll of the wave itself. I'm using the knife. Completely dry, painting is dry, so we're just dragging some white highlights and some very pale blue low lights over um, the curl of the wave itself. So this will just add sparkle to the painting. It'll just bring some light to it and some movement. So it's mostly just working with the knife on the dry canvas, and I'll smudge it here and there just to push the colour in slightly. Working on the top part of the wave now. As that curls over, there's kind of a blue light on it. It's obviously reflecting the sky. Water does that. It reflects the sky quite a lot. So you're going to have a certain amount of blue areas there. And I just drag that down then over the curl of the wave. Working back then into the splash there, the foam that's coming up, as you can see, and then on into this top of the crest of the wave here is going to, I want this to be a bit more of a feature. So compared to the photo, I'm adding in some extras here, adding in a bit more splash, a bit more lights, watching the water come up and curl back on itself. So it kind of, it's a bit more interesting. As you can see, we got to create a little dark just under the where the wave just meets the flat of the water, and there would be a slight shadow there, so we're adding in that shadow. And now the rocks itself. The rocks are just a little bit warm, so I wanted to cool them down just slightly. So we mixed up some raw umber and white, mostly just to put a glaze over them, and that will kind of lighten things out just a little. Just wanted to cool them down a small bit. They're a little bit too yellow for me. I'm going to just add in a few more features here and there, just to keep things interesting and try and keep the colors as cool as possible. There's not a lot of warmth in this painting, so we're trying to keep, that's the idea of it being kind of cold. It's a cold day down on the beach and down on the rocks, so I'm trying to keep that coolness in it. Tiny little bit of green just to warm up the edges of the wave. Where the water kicks up, you're going to have it just slightly light with the light shining through it. So just adding a tiny little bit greener, just add a bit more cad yellow into that mix, into that grey-blue mix to kind of green it just slightly. Now, I think it was around here that I kind of decided that I needed to make a change. So I've added in a huge dark grey swathe of water here. Everything was just looking a little flat to the same. So I've pulled in this dark color. It's dark blue grey, and I'm kind of creating a little bit more interest there in the midground, just to kind of draw the eye around a little bit more around the rock itself. Trying to lead from coming into the right and leading back around over to the left. Adding some more lights again, so we got to get some sparkle into that wave, as you can see it there. And I'll mostly use the knife for this because I'm laying down almost pure white color here. And then put some bluey greys in on the background foam where it kicks up just behind there. Again, keeping the edges undefined. You don't want to have too much going on there. Otherwise, it's just, it builds kind of a barrier. It's just something that it's going to draw the attention. So kind of put it in, wipe it out, and keep everything moving. So not too much more to do now. I'm just kind of refining a few things here and there. Putting in a few dark edges along the rocks, just to create some harder edges. You don't want anything soft about your rock. So I'm just hardening up a few spaces there. Mostly my darks here are indigo and raw umber for the most part. And that usually gets me, it's a kind of a blackish colour. In. Just pulling down a few more highlights there over the roll. Just a little bit more blue, just to bring the blue out a bit. And I think we're almost there. That's all we've really got to do now. There we go. I'm just signing in the bottom right-hand corner, and we're done. So that is the part 2 of this painting, and it's complete, and it will be hopefully going in my show, which will be starting on May the 1st in Tramore this year. Thanks for watching. Bye now.